Hey everybody, Nick here again. In this video, I'm going to be talking about constipation. And I think something else. I can't exactly remember it right now off the top of my head. But, differences in digestion, which kind of goes in hand with constipation. So, constipation. First of all, I want to establish the definition and then why I think that's kind of a bad definition. So, constipation, it says here, generally means passing fewer than 3 stools a week or having a difficult time passing stool. Constipation is fairly common. A lack of dietary fiber, fluids, and exercise can cause constipation. But other medical conditions or certain medicines may be the cause. So, first of all, I'd like to point out that a lack of dietary fiber is the opposite of the cause of constipation. So I want to kind of I want to establish my definition. And you guys can, you don't have to listen to me. Who am I? I don't know anything, right? But so this definition says passing fewer than 3 stools a week or having a difficult time passing stool. I would change it to having a difficult time passing stool to the extent that you are passing fewer than 3 stools a week. Okay, because here's the thing. If you feel in your gut that you've got stool, poop, that means you've got waste in your gut, right? And that means you need to pass it. So you need to defecate. Now, here's the thing. Just because someone doesn't pass stool doesn't mean they have stool to pass. Right? So, I don't know, say I'm eating a very high fiber diet, right? Super constipated, super bloated, because that's what happens when you eat a lot of fiber. You get super constipated and super bloated. Well, and there's reasons for that I might talk about. But, you've got bulk in your gut. You've got this useless fiber. Maybe 1% of it can be used by your microorganisms in your gut, but none of it can be digested by us. We have no capability to digest. As a matter of fact, only microbes have the ability to digest fiber, because fiber is cellulose. Only microbes have cellulase. Okay, so now that we've established that, if I've got a bunch of bulk in my gut, I feel blocked up, oh man, I'm constipated. That's constipation. Now, if we've got a no fiber diet, so there's no fiber, which is a big contributing factor to non-digestible food, or bulk in your gut, sorry, because it's a big component in our food. Well, the world's food supply. It should not be a component in your food, really, but I'm not perfect either, so anyway, I keep getting off track. If you've got a no fiber diet, you are going to have much less constipation because there's not much waste. Everything's getting digested. Everything's getting absorbed. Not everything. There are some things that don't get absorbed, like bone. I mean, dogs, if they eat raw, if they're chewing on raw bone, it's not as bad. But if they're chewing on a cooked bone, oh man, you might have a lot of gum bug. You might have a lot of impaction, a lot of blockage. You might have to do surgery to remove that bone from the intestine once it gets blocked, because it's very likely that it'll get blocked. But anyway, no fiber diet, you're gonna have much less constipation, much less hemorrhoids. That's something I struggle with. Sorry if that's nasty. much less bleeding from down there. Yeah, just because there's nothing scraping against your inside of your intestines. There's nothing irritating that. That's all fiber is since it can't be digested, it's waste. So what does waste have to do to get out of the body? It's got to pass through the intestines. Now, okay, let's just say I eat wood. Let's just say I eat wood, which is even further than cellulose. It's not even cellulose. It's something called lignin. You know what digests lignin? Termites. Maybe some other stuff, but termites are like one of the only things that can digest lignin. Cows can't even digest lignin. Okay, microbes they don't have ligninase or whatever it's called. They can't digest it. So eat a low fiber diet. I mean, you can eat whatever you want. You know, if you want some ice cream, go for it. If you want spinach, okay, go for it. I don't know why you'd want spinach. Not to mention spinach is very high in oxalates, which are very bad for you. And but yeah, if you want, I mean, I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you what I've researched and what I've thought about. So anyway, now that constipation's been talked about, let's talk about the differences in absorption between plant and animal nutritive sources. So again, we've got plants which have fiber and animal foods which have basically no fiber. I mean, the only fiber I can think of in an animal food is maybe the contents of a stomach of a cow. I don't know. I can't really think of anything else. Carbohydrate difference. Plants, many carbohydrates, lots of carbohydrates. They are carbon fixers. They make carbohydrates. We use carbohydrates. Okay? Now, glycogen, that is a common carbohydrate stored in animal tissue. Okay? Large quantities in the liver, not so much in the muscle tissue. And by large quantities, I mean still, this is like grams we're talking about. In a serving of liver, it's like 4 grams. In a serving of muscle meat, it's trace amounts. Yeah, I mean, I think it says on the, if I buy a steak from Walmart, it says 0 grams of carbohydrate. But if I buy beef liver from Walmart, it says 4 grams carbohydrate per serving. So it's like 4 ounces, right? Okay. Now, let's talk about protein. Animal protein versus plant protein. I'm actually going to get my notebook for this from my nutrition class. Okay, so this is the good thing about notes, is that even if you don't remember anything from the class, like I don't, you've got this to look back at, and you can always study this later. So, yeah. So, bioavailability. We've got biological value of protein here. So, cows, they eat grass, right? Now, they've got bugs in their gut, aka microbes, that digest the grass. Grass by itself, its protein has a biological value of 65%. Okay? So that means only 65% can be digested by, say, the stomach. Okay? It goes to the stomach. The acid is only able to denature 65%. Okay. Now we've got microbial protein, which is what the microbes turn that protein, that grass protein, into. Okay, they convert it from 65% to, guess what? 80%. That's much higher. That's like 25% higher or something, at least. So it's absorbed more readily. It's just better for the animal. Now, here's the thing. We don't really have that fiber digesting capacity, really. We don't have that, we can't digest grass as well as cows because they've got a rumen full of bugs, gallons of volume, whereas we have a cecum about that big, size of my pinky finger, you know, and so that is not a lot of volume in my pinky finger. Maybe there's some bugs in there, sure. So there's a little bit of fiber digestion in us, but not enough to, one, survive off, and with all the other factors, like plant toxins, thrive off. We can't thrive off plants. I mean, you can live for a while, up until about 40, 50, 60 years old when your hair starts to turn gray from, I mean, it's my theory that it's from nutrient deprivation, because I've seen some people, apparently, you know, there's a couple people online that have done a carnivore diet for the better part of their life. And, you know, there was this one woman that was 82 years old, and she looked like she was 60. And her cognizance was, I don't know if that's a word, was very plainly there. I mean, she was able to think. Her skin wasn't very wrinkly at all. Maybe, you know, a couple, you know, crow's feet, whatever they're called. Maybe some laugh lines, but nothing like the saggy skin that you see on, you know, people who you might, well, I don't want to be mean, but I'll just stop there. Okay. Anyway, biological value, 80% microprotein, right? Now, let's take a look at some other values. We got eggs. You know what their biological value is? 95%. And that makes sense because they've got to turn into a whole organism, right? An egg. Milk, 85%, or biological value of 85. Meat, 70 to 80. So some meats aren't as good as others. I believe that ruminant meat is better than monogastric meat, aka beef is better than pork, lamb is better than pork, beef is better than chicken, goat is better than chicken, because goat, lamb, and beef are ruminant meats. Pork and chicken, not so much. Well, they're not at all. They're monogastric. And that's just because the microbes probably, I mean, they can take care of all the plant toxins and all that. I don't know the full ins and outs of it. But then we've got legumes, aka beans and stuff like that. Peanuts, I think. You know, these are the dicots, right? They've got those storage spaces underground for the plant's energy at first. And I can't remember. I took plant soil sciences intro a long time ago, or at least last semester. I can't remember it. And anyway, their biological value is 65. So 65% of it's used. That's the same as grass. Not very good. But some of it is still used, so, you know, you will glean some nutrition, but just not as much as you could. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of make this video to talk about some of those things. Sorry for it being pretty long, 13 minutes long already. I'll just end it here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.